Peace and love, family. Welcome to the show, Candid Conversation. Not popular,
but important.
And we appreciate y'all being here. Shout out to our day ones who've been holding us down and rocking with us since day one.
Okay, yes.
And if you're new to the channel, if you're new to the show, welcome. Welcome to the family. Come on in, have a seat, and let's get it in.
Yes, join the discussion. Of course, you know we love for your feedback. We love to hear back from you. We don't know it all, so we expect for you to give us some knowledge as well as we share what we know based on the research we've done.
Right. I'm King George, a.k.a. Mr. Knowledge is Power, and this is the beautiful...
Natalie Nicole.
My one and only.
Yes, Natalie Nicole.
There you go. So buckle up, relax, come on in, have a seat, there's plenty of room.
Yes, now we know tonight a lot of you are going to be catching the replay, because currently what's going on, honey?
It's Super Bowl Sunday.
Yeah, so we know a lot of people are tuned in to Super Bowl Sunday.
Right.
Catch the replay.
Right. But if you are tuned in, we appreciate you.
Yes, very much.
So it's Black History Month, so-called Black History Month. So we're going to tackle that topic today, the history of it, the origin. But before we get into that, we want to shout out our sponsors.
Yes.
RMA, Role Model Academy.
Yes. All things fashion, modeling, and personal development for Role Model Academy. They are currently looking for models. So if you're interested, you think you have what it takes, make sure you visit their Facebook page, social media, IG, and register. Sign up to become a model. You think you have what it takes.
That's right.
All right. What about Tri-City Fatherhood Group?
Shout out to Tri-City Fatherhood Group. If you are having child support issues, if you know anybody that's having child support issues, please reach out to TriCityFatherhoodGroup.com for child support relief. If you're having issues with your license being suspended, your bank levies, your credit being destroyed, reach out. We offer education, we offer coaching, and we definitely dig deep and show you what your rights are, how your rights are being violated, and what you're entitled to. So again, thanks to Tri-City Fatherhood Group for that. And for being a sponsor, as well as Role Model Academy.
All right.
Without further ado,
let's talk about our quote of the day.
Our quote of the day is brought to you by Dr. Maya Angelou, which says, bear with me, y'all. She says, without courage, we cannot practice any other virtue with consistency. We can't be kind, true, merciful, generous, or honest.
Oh, wow. That's good.
Right. Brought to you by Dr. Maya Angelou, memoirist and poet.
All right.
Yes, indeed.
Without courage.
That's right.
All right. You ready to dive deep? Just a little reminder that on Sundays at 7:30, we dive deep into history regarding our culture. And then on Wednesdays at 9 p.m., we talk about politics.
Right.
We talk about city news. We talk about upcoming events. And we talk about education, what's going on here in our district. So make sure you tune in on Wednesdays at 9 p.m. And then tonight, we're targeting one topic. And what did you say the topic was again?
The topic is we're discussing the history of so-called Black History. Black History Month.
Now, I know
I didn't get that. Could you try again?
I know last week we talked about Black history and how the term Black, right, really does not.
It doesn't represent us.
Yeah.
It has no culture. There's no country. There's no origin. But that's what a lot of our people refer to ourselves as Black.
Yes. So
we don't subscribe.
Right. We don't subscribe because Black means nothing. It comes from nowhere. It does not have a land. It represents nothing. Okay.
Right.
So I think how we kind of mention that is we just go with what has been given us. Black, minority, and whatever else. And we have to stop doing that. We really have to stop just accepting what's been given to us. So you ready to dig deep into this Black history?
Let's do it.
All right.
Let's do it. So we can start with historian, activist, and educator Carter G. Woodson, who is credited with a lot as far as African American study and histories go. But we'll just start with Negro History Month, which came before so-called Black History Month.
Yeah.
So
it was a week.
Right.
Yeah.
Negro History Week, which came about in 1925. I think 1925, 1926.
Okay.
Yeah, but Carter G. Woodson is credited with bringing Negro History Week awareness to it and making it a time for us to reflect on our own history and our own culture, rather than being taught their culture and their history.
Right. And so to add to what you stated, he was a Harvard-trained historian.
Right.
And it was him along with some other students who founded...
And community leaders also.
Yes, who founded the Association for the Study of Negro Life and History. And through that, they came up with the Black History Week. Right?
Negro history.
Yes, I'm sorry, thank you. The Black Negro History Week.
Right.
It's that organization is still around today.
Okay.
And so now it's known as the study of African American life and history. But it's amazing that from so many years ago, it's still around.
Right.
And what started as a week is now a month.
Right.
So how did we get there from a week to a month?
So let's just go back for the week. It was said that because of Frederick Douglass and former President Abraham Lincoln's birthday being both in the month of February, that's how Negro History Week started.
Yes.
Allegedly.
That's why they chose February.
That's why they chose February, right?
Right.
Or that week, the week of February.
Right.
The second week in February.
Right.
Was Negro History Week.
And so February 12th, 1809 is Abraham Lincoln's birthday, documented birthday. And then for Frederick Douglass, because I asked you this, right? He was born a slave.
Right.
So because he was born a slave, we didn't have birth certificates or anything back during that time. So he associated or thought his birthday or estimated his birthday to be February 1818. And then later celebrated it February 14th. So his birthday is coming up. His estimated birthday of February 14th is coming up. But that is why they chose the second week of February to celebrate the Negro History Week.
Right. So his birthday is essentially Valentine's Day.
Right.
Okay.
Right.
Wow.
According to his estimate.
Right.
According to his estimate, which is, it points out another, concern or just an issue for African American people. Here it is, a scholar, a man of great, esteem for us.
Right.
And he doesn't even know the day he was born.
Right, and that's the case with a lot of our ancestors. So a lot of our history was wiped out.
Yeah.
You can't accurately look back at some of the dates and times and ages.
Right.
Because there was no birthdays, there was no birth certificates.
No birth certificates because we were not considered human beings, like
that didn't
they were
pertain to us.
considered.
Right?
Yeah.
They weren't concerned about celebrating a birthday for us.
Yeah.
So yeah. But what say you? So we're going to dive into so-called Black History Month, and is it needed? Because, there's a discussion and debate going on about if it's still needed, if it marginalizes African-American people. So please leave in the comments, if it's needed or what your opinion is, if you have an opinion either way about Black History Month.
And what's interesting about it is that there would be a lot of people today who would say, we don't need Black History Month. They feel like it's an insult. But I wonder, is that coming from a place of not even knowing that an African-American group of people started this celebration to honor and to bring to light what our ancestors have done because it wasn't being done at all. So I wonder would they sing that same tone if they knew exactly where it began, because this is not something that Caucasian people gave us or other people gave us. This was started among our African American people to highlight the accomplishments, the achievements of us. They started with the week.
Right.
And of course, there was a president who turned it into a month.
Right. Former President Gerald Ford.
Yeah, the 38th president of the United States. Now, he was the first president not elected because he took the place of Nixon, who had to resign because
of Watergate.
Yeah, so this president stepped in and he saw fit to make a week into a month.
Right.
Which is,
and make it nationally recognized as what we have today, so-called Black History Month.
Right, and so that's probably the history that people pick up on right there and don't realize that it initiated with African American people.
Right.
Trying to bring to light a celebration for our people.
That's
so
right.
What do you think about that? Does that change how you feel about it? It changed. I'm going to tell you, I didn't know it was originated from African American people.
I didn't either.
So I thought it was something that people were doing to be nice. I had no idea that it originated until doing our research from an African American group of people.
Right.
So, I mean, how do you feel about it? Does it change the way you feel about Black History Month?
That it was started, are you saying that because, does what change?
Like, I'm telling you, where I believed it came from was other people, not us.
No, it doesn't.
Okay.
It doesn't. All right, so are you saying recognizing that it came from our people, does it change anything for me?
Yeah, because, I said some people feel as if we shouldn't celebrate it or it's not needed. And I'm thinking maybe that's because it's coming from a place of not knowing where it originated in the first place.
Oh, okay, I got you. Yeah, it doesn't, it just makes me more proud.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, that it came from us.
Yeah.
But as far as where we are now, I don't think it's needed.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason I say that because it is, I feel like we're being marginalized. I feel like growing up as a kid, in my experience, we were told about the same people over and over and over and over. Like Harriet Tubman every year, Dr. King every year, Rosa Parks every year, which is great. But my thing is we need to teach this, or we should be taught this at home. Our own history shouldn't be given to us by somebody else. Right. So that's the issue I have with it. Well, the main issue is it being celebrated once a year, when our own families should be given this history every day and all year long.
Right.
So that's what I'm trying to say.
Agree. Now, what I understand is that because this initiative was started, colleges and schools started to, try to celebrate it as well. So basically, they was doing the best they could with the Martin Luther King and the repeat of the same people every year, Harriet Tubman. But like you said, I feel like it's very, very important that we do our own research,
right? And
that we have systems in place. It's not just once a month, but every day, every week, that we're incorporating learning more about our history and our ancestors.
Right. Yeah, it needs to be taught year round.
Yeah. And they need to be celebrated and highlighted, and because when I lived in California and I went to a Juneteenth celebration, when I tell you it was like a whole large space full of items that were invented by us that you wouldn't know. The remote control.
That's what I'm saying, right.
Like all kinds of things invented by us that you just would not know because we are not being taught.
Right.
And like you said, that starts in the family.
Exactly. And y'all make sure y'all stay tuned for our topic on Juneteenth. We'll be, diving deep on that.
Yes.
In one of our episodes to come.
Yes.
But
so let us know. Let us know how you feel about February, the month of February. I've heard all types of comments. It's the shortest month of the year.
Right.
All these insults. And I have probably been on the wagon about some of it as well, you know,
Mm-hmm.
not knowing that it was initiated by us.
Right.
Not
Right.
knowing that.
And the reason it was initiated is to tell our own story.
Yes.
And to tell our own history.
Yes.
And yeah, we got to keep that going year round, not just in February. So, you know, we appreciate the origin of it and where
Yes.
it came from, and that
Yes.
it being something that our people started.
Mm-hmm.
But it has to be something that's taught year round.
Right.
So yeah, we can't say enough about that.
Right. And, you know, choosing the month because it was, you know, Emancipation Proclamation President and Frederick Douglass. Frederick Douglass, yes.
Yeah.
You know, that's a great reason to choose, you know, the month of February. But like you said, we got to keep it moving.
Yeah.
All year long.
All year long. All year round. So.
Yeah.
So yeah. So again, please put in the comments. You know, what your opinion is. You know, should we continue to celebrate Black History Month? Is it needed? Is it not needed? Do y'all agree this is something that we need to continue to teach our kids and our family and our community year round?
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, let us know what you think.
Right.
And what your opinion is of it. Does it help our community? Does it hurt?
Right.
You know, so we want to.
Does it matter who's teaching it? You know, who's teaching the history?
Right.
Because, you know, there's a big debate now about them taking Black history out of the schools. To me, it wouldn't hurt me either way.
Right.
It really falls on, you know, the many churches that we have in the community. It falls on the parents and the homes. You know, that's where education first comes from. We cannot depend on someone else to teach us about us.
That's right.
We can't.
We cannot.
Mm-mm.
So yeah, you're right.
Yes.
And
I'm sorry, and it's just like, you know, women saying we have women's rights and men can't tell us about our body, but we'll let another culture tell us about our history. Or, you know, get upset that they're trying to take it out of the education system. Why? When that's our responsibility.
Our responsibility, right. You said it. So yeah.
And we have a lot of great historians who have done the work, who's put in the time to research our history to the best of their ability. And that's all we got to do is start there, you know, with teaching at home.
Right. So Carter G. Woodson has a book, The Miseducation of the Negro.
Yes.
Which is what we're talking about right now.
We are very I was very miseducated about February.
And a lot of us are about our own history. So yeah, we gotta come together and do better about making sure we know about our own history.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
that's right.
If they take Black history or so-called Black history out of the schools, it shouldn't matter to us.
Yeah.
Because we're not gonna skip a beat if we're still teaching it in the homes and teaching it to our babies and the next generation and so forth and so on.
Yes.
So
I want to say this too. So, you know, the story of Black History Month, it begins in 1915, way back in 1915. Okay. And that is like a little bit over 50 years later, was the Emancipation Proclamation. So in 1863, 15 years later came the Black History Month. Okay. So in between that, it was 1863 when he signed the proclamation, but it wasn't until 1865 in December that officially all the slaves were made aware, and it was like enforced that you cannot have slaves in 1865.
The law was passed.
Yes.
Right.
So, but he started this process in 1861, I believe.
Right.
Yeah.
So just think about it. If you haven't seen our last show, go back and watch that. But we talked about reparations,
1863,
and the Emancipation Proclamation, and how President Lincoln, he had this order or this bill. He already had it. He just sat on it before it was initially passed in 1865. But you know, he already had it drawn up. They just sat on it. But if you didn't see that show, go back and see it because it just lets you know further that slavery was not at the forefront of the Civil War.
Right, not for everybody. So
not for us.
Yes, while he initiated it in 1863,
Mm-hmm.
it wasn't until 1865 in the South. The South was still having slaves, and it got to the point where they had to. Well, it was signed, but it had to be enforced. Like they literally had to visit plantations
Right.
and force them to let their slaves go.
Right, we have to. If y'all know, I know Texas. I think Texas was the last state.
Yes.
To
Big
free
old
their
state.
slaves.
Yes.
But I can't remember what year that was. But it wasn't 1865. It was years later when they finally got the memo. Hey, y'all supposed to be free 3 years ago, or 2 years ago, or however many years ago.
Right.
So if y'all know what year it was that Texas freed their slaves, or got the message that slaves, were free, because I think they got the message, they just didn't free them.
Yeah, yes, that part.
Yeah.
And I want to insert here too is that, okay, during this time, African American people started off voting Republican.
Mm-hmm.
Now, why do you think they were voting Republican?
I think they thought that was what was in their best interest, or in our best interest.
Okay, so what was the president who freed them?
He was a Republican.
Correct.
Yeah.
So, I mean, walk with me here now, okay? So they voted that way because this man showed them freedom. He gave them some insight to freedom. So they just automatically followed Republican, right?
Right.
But we know that we learned that this man did not do this for the benefit or the morals or because it was the right thing to do.
Right.
It was a financial situation.
And political.
But we followed anyways. We just followed suit and we were Republicans for a long time.
Right.
And it wasn't until Franklin D. Roosevelt was running for presidency in 1936 that there was this big shift and we all voted Democrat. And we have been doing so for the most part, most of us, since 1936.
Wow.
Based on a president, Roosevelt.
Right.
And they said it was because it was during the Depression. So he sold them a dream of economic recovery and civil rights.
Right.
And so we jumped ship to that. At this point, should we have formed our own party based on the things that we needed and we knew that we knew that we know that we knew?
Well, listen. I would say yes and no.
Okay.
I just believe we should have used our power, and because to me, whether you voted Democrat or Republican, you got to choose the lesser of two evils.
Right.
To me.
Right.
So to answer that, yeah, we should have started our own party and used our spending power, our influence to, not support. You know what I mean? I know it was hard back then because we were facing so many obstacles. So in essence, we kind of, had to, our ancestors died so we could vote.
Yes.
And they fought and they, so that we could have the right to vote. So.
And let me ask you, why couldn't they just give us a reservation or some plot of land like they did the Native Americans? Would we have been better off had they been like, okay, y'all take over here and, do what you want to do and how you want to do with that over there? I mean, just to try to assimilate us and bring us in only for there to be more problems. Because a gentleman mentioned today that we talk about reparations and we talk about it for the 400 years. But what about after the Emancipation Proclamation? And, what is it called?
Reconstruction, Civil Rights Movement.
Yes. And what was Jim Crow and all of that our ancestors had to go through. Yeah. What about that part?
Yeah. I feel like, so that's what the plan was, 40 acres and a mule, was to give all of that land that was taken from the Confederacy was supposed to be given to our people. Right. And they started to do it, but as we know now, after Lincoln was assassinated, that plan was destroyed. So that was the plan, like you said, to give us our own space which was basically all the southern states with Virginia, North Carolina, South Carolina, Georgia, Alabama, Mississippi, and I think Tennessee too also.
Yeah.
But yeah, all of that was supposed to be, you know, parceled out for our people to develop and have our own land. But
now, what do
it didn't
y'all
happen.
think about that? Could you imagine, could you see, like they gave the Native Americans a plot of land and, you know, just kind of left them alone about how they did what they did, if they had given us the same thing? You know, how would we be? Like, what would it be like today?
It would be a lot further than where we are, a lot further than where we are today. Because that would have gave us a start.
Yeah.
We didn't have a start until after civil rights, because we
Right.
were still fighting for this and fighting for that and trying to get land.
And whatever we were building, they were tearing it down and burning it down.
Right. So
yeah.
it's
That is a thought to just think what it would have been like had they did it like that for us, like they did for the Native Americans.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Now, another thing that I didn't know is that since 1976, every American president has designated February as Black History Month and endorsed it with a specific theme. Did you know that?
I didn't know that.
I had no idea. So this makes sense as to why we've seen an event. I think it's going on at the Selfie Museum about Black history and arts.
Okay.
Because that's what this theme is this year. Okay,
Wow.
so this year the theme for Black History Month is African Americans and the Arts. And it's going to explore key influence African Americans have made in the fields of visual and performing arts, literature, fashion, folklore, language, film, music, artist. Say that say it for me.
Where?
This one. Architecture, culinary, and other forms of cultural expression. So I did not know that either.
I didn't know that either.
I didn't know we had a theme every month, every year.
Right, imagine that.
I had no idea. But apparently some of us are up on it, right? Because we're here in the city of Columbus.
Right.
The Selfie Museum, they're going to highlight African American arts. So I think that's amazing.
It is.
And
if you knew that, you know, put a thumbs up in the chat if you knew that already.
Yeah.
But so we learn something new every day.
Yes. And that's the whole purpose of this, is to just be honest and just to be candid about what we know and what we don't know, and some strategies on moving forward.
Right.
In the right direction.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
So but you know, our history, it goes deep.
Yeah.
And it didn't start when we got here.
Right.
You know what I mean? So
that part. And that's the void for me. Like that's the hole in my heart, is just not knowing exactly where I came from.
Right.
And to me, like, it's superficial to get over here. I won't say it. It's superficial.
It's candid.
It's tough, you know, to try to give myself somewhere to come from, you know, or a name that means something.
Right.
I can't do it.
Well, it's like you said, there's a void there, and you always want to know where exactly we came from.
Right.
What language did we exactly speak?
Right.
You know what I mean? Which continent or country did we come from, or tribe?
Right. Tribe.
Did we belong to? So all of that was wiped out.
Yeah.
All of that was wiped out.
Right.
So
and back to the reparations part, when they feel like they don't owe us anything, today we have no idea who we are and where we came from.
Right.
Today.
Right.
Today I have a slave plantation owner's last name, and that in itself is enough for them to owe me.
Right. Right. You are permanently branded.
Yes.
You came over here, you were permanently branded.
Yes.
So right. So each generation, slavery was far reaching.
Yeah.
You know, all the way from back.
As it keeps going.
Yeah.
Yes.
So that's something we talk about all the time.
Yes. What you want to talk about next?
Just I would say people that I guess we don't necessarily talk about every well, just the conversation's not being had about well, we already know in school we get Dr. King, we get Rosa Parks, We get Madam C.J. Walker.
Mm-hmm.
So we get a list of names every year.
Yes.
But
yes.
but yeah, I just want to continue to highlight the people like Carter G. Woodson that I don't remember hearing about in school.
Never heard of him before. Had no idea he initiated this
none whatsoever.
Week,
None whatsoever.
And it's amazing to know that, he was in college and he was doing research to celebrate our achievements and to bring us to light,
Exactly.
And I'm sure it wasn't popular during that time. I'm sure it wasn't something that is,
Right. And then, too, what a lot of people didn't know or don't know probably is Carter G. Woodson was the only person to receive a PhD who was born to slaves.
Wow.
So he is the only African American to earn a PhD who was born to slaves. Wow. In America. So
that is amazing.
Right.
That is amazing.
So just people that they want to call them unsung heroes, but it's people out here who have done and contributed to great things in this nation that don't get talked about.
Correct. That is the truth.
While we do want to give our flowers to those people that I just named, Dr. King, Madam C.J. Walker, Rosa Parks, the list goes on. But yeah, we want to give them their flowers. But it's also a whole other list of names who don't get their flowers, like people who've invented things in this country from our culture that don't get their just due.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And what I want to bring up during this part is that it's interesting that we choose to celebrate Black History Month in February.
Right.
And also what goes on in February since 2004 is the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
The Super Bowl. And my conviction is to highlight Colin, how you say his name? Kaepernick. Mm-hmm. Because in 2016, he took a knee.
Right.
And so this is the difference between...
And rightfully so, he took a knee, but go ahead.
Yes, this is the difference between when I went to school and I learned about Rosa Parks and utmost respect and love. Mm-hmm. She was trained to sit on the bus and to be able to resist whatever was going to come for her.
Right.
So to me, there's a difference between what she did and what Colin
Kaepernick.
Yes, I don't believe he was trained. I haven't seen a documentary that said that he was trained to, take the resistance that was going to come with him taking a knee. Not only did he take a knee, he lost his career.
Right.
He lost millions of dollars.
Exactly.
For who and for what? Because right now, today, we're still watching the football game.
Right. So I'm glad you brought that up because, change collectively can't happen. And he wasn't the only one that took a knee. Now, he initiated it to take a knee first, but there was others who joined in with him, and they all were punished in some shape, form, or fashion. But he was made an example of to keep the rest of us in order and in line. So, the NFL is predominantly African American. Yes. But all the owners they don't look like us. No. And they're not going to allow you into their precious, their precious, what is it called? Their small circle. They're not going to allow anybody that looks like us. Now, Magic Johnson, they did give him part ownership of one team, which is good.
For football?
For the NFL.
Okay.
But not every, he's the minority when it comes to wealth. Because people that look like us, not a lot of us are wealthy. Right. So, and have that opportunity. Is what
you have Ice Cube, who has a football league, right?
Basketball league.
But is he getting the support that he needs to make it, official like everybody else's?
So he did get support, but the NBA, which is crazy, the NBA was instrumental in trying to shut him down. They didn't want the big three. They don't want competitors. So they did whatever they could to try to shut him down. But yeah, so if we would do what Ice Cube did, if we would do what Tyler Perry did and others, we would be in a much better place.
Right.
So, and what Colin Kaepernick did.
Right. And so I want to say that he was kneeling in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
He was 29 years old. It was a silent protest. He kneeled during the national anthem to protest the racial injustice and police brutality against African Americans. Now, I remember this like it was yesterday,
Mm-hmm.
and I remember understanding that that song and that flag
Mm-hmm.
means more or has more value than our lives. That's what I understood.
Exactly.
And we both served.
Right, we did.
We both served.
We did.
But that flag and that song means more to this country than our lives.
Which is true.
And like, do we get that? Do we care? Like, because it's so easy for it. Like, this happened 2016. It's almost 10 years ago.
Yeah.
But his life has forever been changed for him acting on behalf of his people or his culture.
And exercising his right that the country says he has.
Yes. And where is the support? Because now they brought Jay-Z into the Super Bowl stuff, and then they keep bringing African American people in for the halftimes.
Right.
You know, and I'm sure there's like African American commercials like out of this world. So, you know, they've found a way to let's keep them on board.
Yeah, because the only reason the NFL is successful is because of African American players. That's the only reason.
Mm-hmm.
Take the African American players away, you won't have the same NFL.
Mm-hmm.
You will not.
Mm-mm.
So again, if you think about all of these endorsements, think about Deion Sanders, prime time, how much he contributed to the popularity of the NFL. He's still popular.
Yes.
You know, outside of the NFL. So just
Yes.
imagine what he brought to the NFL.
Yes.
And there's countless of others who've had sneaker deals and who had all these endorsements and brought all of this light and make people want to watch, you know, made the NFL popular. So
and it's like
it's crazy.
It's almost like we don't see the power that we have.
We don't. And we talked about that earlier.
Yeah.
Because people have become comfortable now.
That's where it's at.
You know, nobody has what's affecting one is not affecting all anymore.
Yes. Yes.
So that's part of the problem too.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, Colin Kaepernick was made an example of, and it's unfortunate.
Mm-hmm.
It's unfortunate, but you know, his livelihood was taken away because he chose to stand up and speak and what he chose to kneel.
Yeah.
So if everything that was affecting, what was affecting him was affecting every other player,
Mm-hmm.
and the rest of the players in the league would have knelt, things would have changed. They're not gonna get rid of everybody.
They can't get rid of everybody. But
Right.
this is happening every day, systematically,
Right.
everywhere in this nation.
Right.
And it's silent, and it's small, and it's private stories and private, you know, people or whatnot. But this is happening every day when people choose to speak up.
Right. Right.
Every day.
So yeah, it's unfortunate, and
have
things
we
are not going
watched-
to change.
Have we watched
until we
the
change
Super
it.
Bowl before? Yes, we have.
Yeah.
You know, we have. But do we make a conscious decision not to support, you know, things that we feel are not supporting our culture as a whole? I think we do.
We do.
I think we do.
And I used to love to watch, you know, the football games, and I was a, you know, Atlanta Falcons fan.
Mm-hmm.
But you can attest. Have you seen me watch football? I don't watch it anymore. I haven't
No.
watched it since they did what they did to Colin Kaepernick, because if they could do it to him, they could do it to me.
And they are doing it.
And I'm no
every day.
different than him, and he's no different than me.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Right.
So it's some people can look at him and be like, well, that's him.
Yeah.
But he's you, because you know what the message they're sending to him, they're sending to all of us.
Yes.
Stay in your place is the message.
And that's just what they did on the plantation. The one that tried to run, the one that tried to go for freedom. What happened? When they were caught, limbs cut off, beat to a pulp,
Right.
hung, you know, and what does that communicate? Stay in your place.
Stay in your place.
Stay
Right.
in bondage.
Exactly.
And we have so much power, but we refuse to use it. We refuse to see it.
Because people are comfortable now. And again, because it's affecting the masses, but some people are just comfortable.
Mm-hmm.
So when you're comfortable, of course, you're not going to feel like moving. You're not going to feel like working.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to feel like doing this or that.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we are nowadays. So you have a small group of people like us, our brothers and sisters, the John Henry Clark Council,
Mm-hmm.
and other groups who are still fighting for rights and equality and bringing awareness to the situation that we still face.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not going to change until we all stick together.
Collectively.
Right. If the whole NFL had taken a knee, we wouldn't be here. And Colin Kaepernick would still be in the league.
Yeah.
But because they didn't back him, he was left out there on the island by himself. And it was easy for them to do what they did to him.
Right.
It's the same thing with Taraji P. Henson.
Mm-hmm.
If all of the other actresses and actors don't stand behind her, she's out there by herself.
And that's what happened to Monique.
Right.
Monique spoke up.
Right.
And she was, they call it blackballed.
Blackballed, if you want to call it.
Yeah. And she was put on the back burner, in the world of Hollywood in her job, an Oscar winner, which to me means
nothing.
In
the grand scheme.
You're right, because if every time you're at the table you're having to renegotiate for coins when people are walking into an audition already knowing, that they're getting millions and millions of dollars, please, it boils down to, I get it. Like I don't want to just say that people are comfortable. It requires a sacrifice. It requires pain. It's tough to move forward in these decisions.
Wait, so you said you don't want to say people are comfortable?
Just comfortable. There may be people that are comfortable and I'm not worried about the next.
Mm-hmm.
But for some people, it's a sacrifice. For some people, if I speak truth to power, I'm going to lose my job. If I speak truth to power, I'm not going to be able to take care of the lifestyle that I have. So to me, I feel like it's like a whole, big picture of things that contribute to people being comfortable and not, doing what they need to do. But we didn't come from those type of people.
Right. And it won't
when they
change.
had to walk.
Right. Listen, people had to be beat down and yeah, they had to walk all of these miles. So again, sacrifices had to be made. And it's the same. It's the same now.
And they chose to do it.
Right.
They chose to do it so that we could be where we are today. But I feel like that part of us has left. People will not choose to sacrifice or make the sacrifices that our ancestors made for us to be here today. Because they feel like maybe we've arrived and maybe we don't have any issues.
That's what it is for me. I feel like, again, we're comfortable and we feel like we've arrived. Mm-hmm. And in some aspects we have, but we still got a long way to go. Mm-hmm. We're still old for what happened to our ancestors. Mm-hmm. And yeah, we got a long way to go. So until we're able to stand on our own 2 feet, which is stop complaining about the Grammys, stop complaining about the Oscars. These are all awards that they give away.
Yes.
For their people.
Yes.
They might throw us a few crumbs or they might give our people a few Oscars, but in the grand scheme of things, those platforms are not meant for us.
And what's sad about it is that the fact that we're voicing, so-and-so should have got this. So, well, that's just feeding into the foolery, honestly, because you feel like you're entitled to something that you didn't initiate and start, and it wasn't for you in the first place.
Right. So, yeah, we can have our own. We can start our own Hollywood Walk of Fame. Mm-hmm. Give our own people their flowers, just like Tyler Perry did.
Yes.
We can start our own studios. Start our own quote unquote black Hollywood or African American Hollywood. Yeah. We can do it ourselves.
Right.
Our spending power is in the billions.
Yes.
So we stop spending that money with them and spend it with our own, we would be a lot further. I'm telling you.
And look, I've already seen it being advertised about during Easter egg hunts.
Right.
About to waste all this money on eggs and foolery, and people need money in their bank accounts. People need to purchase land.
They need their lights turned on.
Owners, all of this stuff that's needed, and we're about to spend a lot of money on eggs. Do we own the eggs? is the money going in our community?
It's not.
It is not.
It's not.
And so when that part for me, like when are we going to get it through our heads that the money we spend on these holidays is not helping us
At all.
We don't own land. We don't own enough of it. We don't own enough homes. We don't have enough money in the bank. We don't have enough, investments and different things of that nature.
And this is
but
their
we want to
holiday.
spend money on eggs.
Right. So, like you said, it's not needed. It's not needed. All of that money that's spent on these holidays like Easter could be put in your child's bank account.
Right, a savings account.
Right, for them to have a good start when
Go
they turn
to trade
18
school,
or 19.
go to college, get a car. Like, how many kids are leaving the house,
Right.
set them up for some kind of success.
Right, so it's just something to think about. All this money that's being spent for Easter could be used to open up an account.
Year after year after year. Imagine where those coins could be if you invested it in something else.
Right, but that's where financial literacy comes into play. We have to start educating our people on the importance of credit, the importance of investing, the importance of entrepreneurship. Stay tuned for that show, which is coming. But all of these things need to be talked about because, again, tax season is upon us.
Yeah.
What are you doing with your tax money? Is it already spent?
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, is your tax money already spent?
It costs $100 to do an LLC for the state of Georgia, right?
Right. To
register a business, $100.
The state of Georgia.
And then once you do that, you get with someone who knows about business and learn how to make that business credit, business life work for you. Right.
So again, you talked about sacrifice. It's temporary pain for long-term gain. So you sacrifice, just like when you're working out, it might be painful at first, but in the long run, you'll be healthier.
Yes.
So it's temporary pain for long-term gain. And that's what we need to do. And that's how we need to think in order for us to grow financially, in order for us to grow as a culture and a community financially. We need to understand that we got to sacrifice, like you said. Sacrifices have to be made.
And the thing is with that, too, when you think about people like Malcolm X and you think about people like Martin Luther King, where was he from? Selma?
Who was that?
Where was Birmingham? Where was Martin Luther King from?
Oh, he's from Atlanta.
From Atlanta.
Born and raised.
Okay, but he didn't just stay in Atlanta. He traveled all over the place.
Right.
To educate, to bring people together, to organize.
Right.
Okay, I think about the churches we have, right?
Right.
As long as my church looks good, as long as my church is getting fed,
right.
As long as my church has an education program, as long as my church people look a certain way and are well-to-do, I'm not worried about anybody else. And I think I read where a man said he worked in the prison, in the jail system here, and that instead of churches wanting people to come into the church, maybe they needed to get out into the communities and start reaching people that way. I say the church because we have so many of them. That's where we reside on Sundays, giving money and giving time. But what are they really doing for the culture as a whole? Right.
Yeah, it's definitely it's a discussion. It's definitely
if you go to church, put it in the comments. If you go to church,
right.
And if you want to share what your church is doing for you, history wise, as far as education, it's time out. And I've been a churchgoer for most of my life for emotional thrill, going in there, yelling, screaming, hollering, running around the church, walking out, and no money in the bank, no savings, don't own land. And with the same mindset, we're getting ready for Easter. And yes, we're getting ready for Valentine's Day.
Right.
All the little thrills that comes along with February. And, let's do a little Black history. Right. Again, when we're spending this money, I don't know how they celebrated Black history for the week when they initiated. They said they brought to light achievements and accomplishments of African American people.
Right.
But did that involve spending money?
I'm pretty sure it didn't.
Because, again, this is another time we are making people rich.
Right.
We are making them rich.
Right. So yeah, the importance of teaching our history year round, not just in 1 month. So yeah, while we are thankful that, you know, our ancestors and the people who came before us were being highlighted, you know, in the month of February, it's our responsibility, each family, it's each family's responsibility to teach African American history year round.
Okay, and tell us how you're doing that. If you're already doing it, you know, do you sit at your kitchen table? Is there a day during the week? Like, how do you go about doing that? So for me, I know, you know, right now I feel like the kids are at a certain age where they know, you know, certain things. But I remember when they were younger, you know, it was kind of heart-wrenching to show them roots.
Well, it was
you know, to sit down and watch that movie.
Right.
And just show them different movies and then talk about it, you know, and just kind of make them aware of what life has been like and where we've come from.
Right.
So I feel like they have a foundation, and I feel like, you know, like Ashlyn told us we needed to read, what was the book?
The Miseducation of the Negro.
Right. So I feel like once you build a foundation with your kids and introduce them to some basic understanding of our culture, then, you know, I think they'll gravitate and learn some things for themselves. But at the same time, I think it has to be a continuous conversation.
Yeah, year round. So yeah, it's definitely needed.
And just like we're learning something new today, like
every day.
Sharing, you know, had no idea it was a Negro Week in February, and why February was chosen, and why it was the second week in February. Had no idea.
Right. So yeah, so again, it's definitely needed in the community, in our homes. The conversation needs to be had. And shout out to, who's that?
Miss Militia.
Okay, MJ.
Hey.
What up?
Yes.
What else we got?
Yes, I can't read the other. But yeah, shout out. Hello, beautiful.
We appreciate you joining us.
Yes.
Have a seat. Stick around. But yeah, so it needs to be continuously had. And I believe that will make for a better generation in generations to come. Knowing their history.
So then what does that look like? Being as though what we talked about today, what does that look like? What action steps do we take from the information we learned today?
So we got to keep having the conversation. Number one, it doesn't stop here. So make sure y'all continue this conversation with your loved ones and your family and friends. But yeah, the conversation has to continue to happen, whether it be here, in your home. It needs to continue to happen. And then, like we said about Dr. Maya Angelou's quote, consistency is key.
Yeah.
So, yeah, continuously bringing awareness to the contributions of our people and
not
the history.
The same people, but new people, different people that we don't know about.
Right, because it's so many. It's so many.
Man today.
Yeah, there's so many of our ancestors who made great contributions to this country. You know, we always talk about Frederick Douglass, who made huge contributions. Harriet Tubman, Maya Angelou, Shirley Chisholm, Madam C.J. Walker. So yeah, we just need to continue to have a conversation and continue to dig deep and do our own research and educate ourselves continuously on the history of our people.
And for me, to me, like when you want to accomplish goals, like you have to write them down.
Right.
You're more likely to accomplish those goals when you write them down.
Right.
So for me, you know, like every month, the last Friday of the month, I like to go hiking. Right. So that's in my calendar. And I know the last Friday of the month, you know, if the weather is where it needs to be, that's where I'm going to be. So why not do that for African American history in your family? Right. You know, pick, you know, if you want to start off once a month or twice a month, but put it in your calendar. Hey, this is the time we're going to sit down. And what I like to do, like what I like to do with the kids when I was younger, when they were younger, and I was younger too, You just take some names and you write them on some index cards, right? Put them in the middle of the table and let them choose and tell you what they know about it.
Right. That's good.
And then you know what they know, and then you can add to it. So it's for the entire family. It's not, for you to just have to talk to your kids, but incorporate them as well and see what they already know. And then maybe next time say, okay, well, you're going to present to the family about this person. Okay. Right. And make it interesting, make it fun.
Make it fun. And then they can go and educate their friends.
And they will definitely pass it on to their generation. Like, they'll definitely pass it on. But I feel like that's what's missing. Kids are not getting it, and then they don't care. They're disconnected and disassociated with it. Right. And there's no pride. You lose pride.
Exactly.
In who you are and where you came from, and then you're out in the streets with the foolery.
Right. Right. Because they're going to make sure that their ancestors are talked about.
Yeah.
Year round.
Oh, help today. All the presidents.
Yeah. They're going to be talked about no matter what.
Oh,
inventions, presidents, everything.
Yes, all the history. Yeah. Yes.
Year round. So, yeah, we got to make a conscious effort to make sure we're doing that with our family and our kids.
Yes.
Also. So.
Yes. And then, the libraries, go get you some books.
Right.
There's books available. Stacey Abrams, she's an author.
That's right.
All of these people we know who are authors, Maya Angelou, authors, for babies, for kids. So there's books out there available on their level, and then for our level.
Right. There's something for everybody.
So I think the underlying theme there is to continue learning. Just like, don't give up learning. Try to learn something new. Get past the people we already know, Martin Luther King, Maya Angelou, and learn something new about people that we don't know.
Right. Right. So, yeah, we got to start somewhere.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is to start.
Yes.
You know what I mean? So yeah. Yep. So-called Black History Month. If you're just joining us, the topic for today's show was so-called Black History Month.
Right.
And the origin of it, where it came from, how we got to where we are today, and what all of that entails. So, yeah, we talked about a lot.
So let's do a little quick recap.
Recap, okay.
Yes, our Harvard-trained historian, Carter G. Woodson,
right,
was the person who founded
Negro History Week.
Yes. Okay.
In 1925.
Right. He chose February and the second week because
Frederick Douglass was allegedly born in the month of February, and so was former President Abraham Lincoln.
Yes. Right. So, who knew that? In the comments, if you knew why February was chosen,
right,
and that it started off as a Negro week as opposed to a month, let us know. Let us know.
Right.
All right. And so then we talked about the fact that they were just promoting achievements by African American people during that time.
Right.
Promoting achievements, not spending a lot of money.
Right.
Promoting achievements.
Right.
Okay.
And then the reason that Carter G. Woodson came up with Negro History Week was so that we could tell our own story.
Yes.
And that we can give our own people their flowers.
Yes.
So.
Yes. And that's so important. And like today in church, it was amazing. So the young lady, she says, today in Black History. And she says, will so-and-so please stand up?
Okay.
Oh, my God.
Present day.
Oh, my God. But she was an older lady. And so she was the first bricklayer or something, African-American woman bricklayer in Columbus, Georgia.
Okay.
That sent chills through me. I love that kind of stuff. Yes. I love it. Yeah. So while people are here, while they are present, that's amazing. That is amazing. So yes. So that we talked about the Negro History Week. We kind of hit on Republican and Democrat, right? We started off as African American people as Republicans.
Supporting Republicans.
Why?
Because the people who were in our favor,
Yes.
like Abraham Lincoln and who else?
I just know Abraham
Other
Lincoln.
other
That
presidents.
Emancipation Proclamation, right?
So they kind of followed suit.
Yes.
To support presidents that they thought were in our, had our best interests.
Yes.
Best
So the
interests
great
at heart.
emancipator, we're voting Republican.
Right.
And so then in 1936, another charismatic president came along.
Well, wait, let's go back. So for a long time, if y'all know, we couldn't vote.
Yes.
So we were not allowed to vote.
Right.
So and we need to do the research on when we were allowed to vote, because I think we did already, but I'm not sure.
Mm-hmm.
But I know it wasn't during the Lincoln era. We couldn't vote.
Okay.
Yeah, we weren't allowed to vote until we were given what was it? We'll come back to y'all, because we don't want to put out the wrong information.
Right. So I don't think we were allowed to vote. I think because he was the great emancipator and he was the Republican, that's why we leaned towards being Republican.
Okay.
Yes. Now, when we were allowed to vote in 1936, President Franklin D. Roosevelt was Democrat. And so that's when we shifted from Republican to Democrat in 1936.
Okay.
And most of us have continued to be Democrats all the way now into 2024.
Right.
Yes.
Right.
Right. And I was shocked to learn that when I was watching a movie that we were Republican. I didn't know that either. And this was a long time ago that I discovered this, but I had no idea that we initially started off Republican. But now we learn why, because of according to research, because President Lincoln was a Republican.
Right.
We voted Republican.
Right.
However, that doesn't mean that the Republican Party had our best interests at heart. Neither does it mean that the Democrat had our best interest at heart.
I agree.
So it's likely that we should have initiated our own party as opposed to, jumping
voting
ship.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I definitely agree with that.
Mm-hmm.
And we have that power now.
Yeah, we do.
To make a decision of, where we spend our dollars and who we put in office.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And they keep trying to say that we're the minority. They keep trying to put that out there.
We're not.
We are not.
Now then, so it was the Republican president, Gerald Ford, the 30th president of the United States, who made Negro Week into
Black History Month. As we know it today.
Yes, an entire month.
Mm-hmm.
And since then, every president has followed through with making it a month. And they've had a theme. And I had no idea about that.
Right.
Yes. So we talked about that. And then we kind of talked about the fact that it's unfortunate that in the month of February, and the Super Bowl falls in the same month, that we wanted to remember the efforts and the sacrifices of Colin Kaepernick.
Right. Because it was a sacrifice. He lost his livelihood. He couldn't make money at it. Well, he could make money, but not on the biggest stage.
Yeah.
Because he could go overseas and make money, but it would be nowhere near as much as he would make playing for the NFL.
And he lost money because he was not able to finish his contracts. People started slicing and dicing real quick.
Right. Now, Nike did give him his own shoe. We will say that. Nike did collaborate with him and give him an opportunity. We will give that to Nike. But as far as the NFL goes, they made an example out of him.
Yeah.
And made sure that he didn't work another day in his life with the NFL. So yeah, that was a great sacrifice he made, and he'll go down in history.
He was 29 years old. Like, how many young people do you know today that has that type of mindset and that's willing to risk it all for others? Money in the bank. Like, he didn't have to be concerned or worried about anything or anybody else. And he definitely made the ultimate sacrifice for himself, for other people.
Right. Right. So, yeah.
Yeah.
So shout out to Colin Kaepernick. If you're watching this, we appreciate you and the sacrifice you made
Very
so
much.
that others behind you will stand up or take a knee
Right.
for what they believe in.
Right. And again, I want to highlight that in 2016, when he was kneeling during the national anthem, and as it referenced the flag, that flag, that anthem, that song meant more to this country than our lives.
Right.
And that's what we really need to, make sure we understand. Because again, when we're watching in, we're tuning and watching in, like they're counting all the people that are watching these shows, right?
Right.
They do their research, so they know, African American people are tuned in, how many commercials they need to put in that's going to be catered to you.
Right.
They know, they're doing the research.
Right. And
so they
commercials,
can sell. Yeah.
Most commercials have our music from the culture, people from our culture representing for them, but you cannot own an NFL team.
Correct.
You cannot own an NBA team.
Correct. And you cannot silently protest your right to do so.
They're not going to have it.
Against brutality against African American people.
Right. So the same thing that Lincoln did, they're still doing. And what I mean is, all Lincoln cared about was the Union. That's all he cared about.
Yeah.
Just like nowadays, all they care about is their flag and what the national anthem and all that means to them.
Yes.
That's what they care about.
Yes.
So when you see people saying, how dare he disrespect the flag, or how dare he, that flag doesn't mean the same thing to us that it means to you.
It doesn't.
You know what I mean?
It doesn't.
But those people are out of touch with reality.
It doesn't.
They're in their own world.
Because that flag does not have blood running through its veins.
That's right.
And neither does that song. And another thing, I know this is something we'll probably talk about later, is that we just, as a culture, we just jump on things, or we just go along with things, and we don't have a clue what we're doing. Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound. That saved a wretch like me. He was a wretch, all right.
Oh.
He was a slave trader. He was on a boat. He
was a racist.
Yes, and he was trading slaves and taking them from point A to point B. Got in a storm, and then he found Jesus. And then, yes, he was a wretch. Yes. But tell me, why, as African American people, are we calling ourselves a wretch?
Or even singing the song
Is
and not know the
it
history of it.
scriptural? Is it scriptural? Somebody tell me where you find that in the Bible, that God told you or Jesus told you to call yourself a wretch. Please. Now, I'll do my research, because I don't think, what I know is he called us fearfully and wonderfully made, masterpieces, the apple of his eye, peculiar people. But a wretch, no, I don't think I've ever come across that. But the African American people, we will sing, I want to say something else, out of that song. And it's coming from a place, from a man who was a sinful wretch, for sure. And call himself a wretch, rightfully so. And so that's another thing for me. Like we just take stuff that's given to us and we go with it.
Right.
Amazing Grace, how sweet the sound that saved a wretch like me. I once was lost. Yes, you was lost. Yes.
Right. That song doesn't have the same meaning.
No.
It doesn't have the same meaning.
No.
Of what people think it means. But
No.
yeah, you're right.
No.
You're right.
So yeah, that one right there. That boils my blood, because we sing that in the church, and do we know where it came from? Do we know the history of it?
Right. So yeah.
We did.
Yeah, I think we can leave it there.
Okay. Well, we gotta announce our winner.
Oh,
yeah.
Amazon $25
yes.
Amazon gift card.
Yes. So, Facebook has the receipts, right? We don't have to make up our own receipts, but Facebook has the receipts of those who tune in faithfully.
Our day one.
Share faithfully.
Right.
And that's where it's at. We need you to share. So
Please share.
So we can have other people join the discussion.
Right.
And so our winner for this, and we're going to need your email so we can shoot you the gift card. But our winner for this week for our Candid Conversation. What do we want to call her?
Day one.
Day one, okay. Is who?
It is Emily.
Emily. Congratulations, Emily. And thank you so much for your support, darling.
We appreciate you.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you for tuning in.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you for commenting. You know, Facebook has the receipts, honey.
Yeah,
thank you so much. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Thank you so much.
So we'll get that gift card to you, Em.
Yeah, we need your email. We
yeah.
need an email for you.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because, you know, technology these days, you can just email a gift card. So that's how we'll get it to you for Amazon. Yes.
Right. So again, congratulations to Em.
Yeah. So we're using Amazon today, but we really want to use Black-owned businesses moving forward. So if you are a Black-owned business in the community in Columbus, Georgia area, please drop your business in our comments so that we can patronize your business, support your business, and also give free gift cards from your business for your business as opposed to Amazon.
Right. Exactly.
We'd rather support locally.
That's right. Okay.
Yes.
That's right.
Yes. And we're not asking for free, but we just want to bless somebody else. So we need to know what businesses have gift cards.
Right.
So that we can take care of it and then bless somebody else so they can patronize your business.
That's right.
Okay.
So yeah, it's been a great show.
How's your day been today?
Oh, it was good.
You sure?
It was good. Yeah.
What was good about it?
I was able to rest after a long trip to New York. If y'all don't know.
It was long?
Well, what I mean is,
we left on Wednesday.
We were on the go. We did a lot.
Yes.
We did a lot of sightseeing.
Oh
we did a lot of walking. We also had a New York Fashion Week show.
In one day, I think we walked like 8 miles.
Yeah.
Yes. On the Brooklyn Bridge. And all
Manhattan,
different kind of
downtown,
places.
Times Square.
Yes. And I got to see my favorite show situation, Law and Order, and stand on the steps. Oh, my goodness.
Where they filming that on location. So, yeah.
Yeah. It was a good time. But we was wore out, though.
We were wore out.
I'm still a little wore out because I got up this morning and went to Sunday school. I was late, though. But I still got it. Yes.
So, yeah, we had a great time. How was your day today?
It was good. I mean, I woke up this morning. I'm loving the rain. I'm okay with the rain.
I'm not a fan.
It's great. I'm a fan. I love rain.
I know
Florida,
it's needed, though.
Yeah, bring on that spring. Bring it on in. Bring it on in.
Ready.
Green trees and the grass. I'm ready for it. But yeah, it was a great day. Went to Sunday school. Again, I was late. And had a great service today at First African Baptist Church.
Shout out to FABC.
Yes, was combined with Fourth Missionary Baptist Church. Yes. Yep. Oh, it was in full effect today. It was crowded and it was a lot of people and they were singing well and preaching well and it was just wonderful. Pastor Green is an awesome pastor. Lady Green, shout out to you both.
To the Greens.
Yeah. And then what happened after that? Oh, we went to a meeting today, which was wonderful. Right. Very informative. Met some new people. Very nice.
We did.
Yeah. And now we're here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's been a great day overall.
Yeah, it's been a great day overall. Yeah. Every day is a great day.
Yeah, that's right. So we get to rest a little bit before
it's
late.
I don't think so. There's no rest for the weary, as they say, right?
It's late.
We got so much stuff to do still.
Yeah.
But also shout out to Mrs. Lakeitha Ash.
Yep.
Honey. Wonderful display of your collection.
It was.
As they say in New York.
Right.
Whose collection is this?
Exactly.
Ooh, I loved it, right?
Yeah.
So Just Mine collection. The models, listen, everybody was beautiful. Everyone did a wonderful job. Shout out to them.
Yep.
Her husband and her support, her marketing manager,
and team,
the model coordinator, her executive assistant, like everybody was so nice and just wonderful and just helpful. I mean, just great team of folks.
Yeah, it was an amazing event, amazing show. an amazing collection.
Yeah.
An amazing designer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I represented Florida, baby,
Yeah,
first,
yeah.
and then Georgia.
C-Town. Yeah, we was in the house. We definitely represented for C-Town.
Yes.
So.
Oh, and when that beat dropped for the music.
Right.
And then, the ladies went on out. Everything was just flawless. And the gentleman. There was a young man as well. Right. It was flawless.
So shout out to everybody who was a part of New York Fashion Week.
And the crowd energy was absolutely wonderful.
It was
yes.
good. The whole atmosphere.
And and as I walked out, and I was so happy to see my family.
Yeah.
Like I tried to keep, runway face.
Yeah.
But when I seen
okay. All right.
I had to smile a little bit. So thank you so much for your support.
It's my pleasure.
I had a wonderful time, very much so. And shout out to Christy and Audrey.
Came through.
And, my mom and dad, they were online watching, and I was missing my baby girl who's in college. She had a basketball game, so she wasn't able to make it. But just a wonderful experience.
It was.
A wonderful experience.
It was.
Mm-hmm. So, and everybody was so nice. Everything was just great.
Right.
Yeah.
We enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
All.
Mm-hmm. Yes.
At the red carpet. Yeah, so we have footage. It's definitely on Facebook. If you haven't seen it, go check out that footage.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, it was an amazing event.
Yeah, and let me go back to how good the favor was, right? The hair lady. Listen, slayed the hair. And, no problems, no bobby pins poking me in my head or nothing. Wonderful. And then from her to the makeup lady, ooh, perfection, right? Because I had already told George that I'm just going to, what did you do? Hashtag stop on our last video.
Right.
That's what I'm going to give them, a hashtag stop, because nobody wants to be casket ready on the runway. But when I tell you,
casket ready.
Yes, the lady did an excellent job. Like I just sat there. So I am so grateful for that. Just the favor and just the beautiful people who were there and who just operated in excellence. Everything was just perfect.
Right.
Perfect.
It was.
Yes.
It was. So yeah.
Yes. Now we stayed in Times Square the last night in the Margaritaville resort.
Right.
24th floor.
The view was breathtaking.
It was breathtaking, all right. A bit scary. Like big old windows, but it was beautiful. It was beautiful.
Now, I don't mind being on the high floors.
Listen,
it don't bother me at all.
I keep my comments to myself.
But yeah. Yeah, it was, trust me, it was good.
Yes, it was very nice. And so Times Square was nice. We had beautiful weather too,
every day too.
So that was
amazing.
It was
cold, but it wasn't unbearable
freezing.
or
It wasn't, And shout out to Miss Debbie. Miss Debbie gave me this beautiful scarf that I got a chance to rock, while I was there. So thank you so much, Miss Debbie, for the scarf. Just absolutely beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Mm-hmm.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. All right. I think that's all I have.
All right, well, we can close it down. Again, we appreciate all our day ones. If you're new, we appreciate you too.
Yes.
Make sure y'all stay tuned for our next show, which will be Wednesday. So, and we'll be giving y'all updates and everything y'all need to stay in the know.
Yes. So if you want to join our email list, because we try to compile as much as possible all the events that's going on here in the city.
Right.
You can get on that email list. Just put your email in this comment or direct message us. And we send those out a couple times a week. And make sure you send us your email so you can get those updates. And then also, if you'd like to sponsor our Candid Conversation show, LLC, Candid Productions, direct message us as well. We have some sponsorship opportunities, packages available to you.
Again, we appreciate it. Thanks for tapping in and tuning in.
And Candid Conversation is not for everybody, but for those that it is for, we welcome you and we are excited to have you join us every week.
That's right. So we can leave it there.
Yeah.
Again, Candid Conversation. Not popular.
Yes, but important. Yes.
We appreciate y'all. Peace and love. Until the next time, stay tuned. Peace.
Peace. All right. Have a good one.